Okay, when setting up your page, you're going to go up here to the page setup panel. You're going to click on there and you're going to see that it asks you what machine you're using because they have multiple devices. I'm using a Cameo 4. Whether or not you're using a cutting mat, if so, what size is that cutting mat, which is a standard 12 by 12 or 12 by 24. In this case, I'm going to select 12 by 12. If you were using a custom or no mat, you would actually have to give Silhouette the parameters that you are working within. There are some presets in the media size, but if your preset is not in there, you could manually input that information. Then you're going to come down to page orientation if indeed you need to change the orientation of your page. The rotate is an option for you to be able to rotate the view of your actual mat. As you can tell, this right here is the exact same as the mat that you're going to use when you're cutting, typically, if you are using a mat. Further down, you have the option to show the print border. The print border is much easier to see if you have your transparency turned off. If you have your transparency turned on, which if you follow my cursor, you will see I turn the transparency on, it becomes increasingly difficult to see that border. For that reason, I tend to decrease my transparency so that this way, if I need a grid, I can still have a grid, but I tend to operate with no grid whatsoever. Finally, you have your cut border, which is that red border around the edge. This lets you know that if anything is touching that border or outside of that border, it will not cut. In this portion, you have grids and guides. These are if you want to have grids and guides to help you during your designing. I tend to prefer not to use those. The final option in page setup is if you are doing the print and cut option. If you are doing that, you absolutely must use your registration marks. And then once again, you're going to set the parameters of how you want your print and cut to look. And that is how you use your page setup panel.